welcome back to another episode of Dirt Surfers, a checkpoint podcast for artists and creatives from all walks of life. I'm your host, Fernie Gonzalez, broadcasting out of El Paso, Texas. Make sure you do us the pleasure of liking and subscribing so we can make this channel grow. All right, today's guest is a man that has a skateboarding-driven energy, a full spectrum of knowledge and experience in music, film, finance, and the origins of historical events in the underground scenes. It's a pleasure to have Wally Lozano in the studio. Say hi, Wally.
Hi, Wally.
Oh, come on,
Thank
brother.
you for the compliment.
What do you mean, man?
Thank you for the compliment.
Hey, so we skated a little today. Where do we skate today? It's the Gallegos Park, right?
Gallegos. Man, I love that park. I wish I had something like that growing up. We had to
What did you have? Adobe and like bricks and
we had Tidy Bowl.
Damn, Tidy Bowl's still around, dude.
People go to Tidy Bowl still?
Yeah, right, Mark? Okay, no, I guess not.
No,
Yeah, Tidy Bowl, it's the ditch, right? The ditch over here, right by the by Fort Bliss, no?
Yeah, people still go there.
Yeah, dude.
That was the place where you wanted like to do the big ollies.
Because of the transitions or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that was
true.
Like the roll in and roll out. And then later on they built the end of the ditch. Because before it was just that
The
first
drainage,
part,
the drain part.
the round, the rounded end.
And then the other side came about.
That was like way later. But we had that. There was the Walmart. You know where the Northeast 9?
Yeah.
Behind there used to be a Walmart on that corner. Like
I don't remember that.
Back, like, yeah, you weren't born yet.
No, I probably. Are you sure it was
And
Walmart?
in the back, yeah, it was a Walmart. Like there was the first Walmart. there
Wally,
on the corner
Wally,
where
Wally.
What's the name of that grocery store now? Is it like
Which one? Vista?
No. There's a grocery store there now, but where the grocery store was a Walmart, and then the back of the Walmart there was a big rail slide.
There's an Albertsons.
Like there was like a.
I'm sure it's still there. I'm sure the skate spot's still there. The stuff just gets demolished. Food for less.
Or what is it? King,
man, we don't-
King Foods?
Food King?
Food King.
Big 8.
Food King.
It's a big 8, dude. Food King.
Food King. It's a Food King. It used to be a Walmart.
Okay.
And in the back of there was like a rail. There was like a docking for trucks, but there was a long rail slide. So that was the rail slide. And then we would go to Austin for the handrails.
But there was no skate park?
Later, like
The Y?
when I was in high school.
Where? What was the first park in El Paso?
Do you remember the Horizon Lake? No.
Damn, no.
There was a lake at Horizon. Like a lake like where people would go like jet ski and stuff. And next to it, Tim Fulmer built there was like a 10.5-foot vert ramp, a 6-foot spine, a 3-foot mini with like a super long flat, and that was like the skate park.
All right, let's rewind because that's already why you're here in El Paso, right? But you grew up. Where did you grow up? Where were you born?
I was born here.
Okay, you were born here.
I was born here. I was here through high school, all the way through high school.
Okay.
And then I went to Texas A&M to study mechanical engineering.
Nice.
And then during that time, I started playing in bands and I started touring.
So you were out of El Paso super young.
Yeah, like 17.
So you left 17.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Pretty much. So then I started touring, and then I dropped out my senior year to go on tour. And then from there, I got into movies. And then I was kind of like...
Full spectrum.
While I was turning... yeah, full spectrum. While I was touring, I didn't skate so much, but then that band broke up. And then I got into a movie called Three Kings.
That's right.
Which I was on that set for 7 months. That was my film school. And then during that time, I started skating again.
Nice.
Like a lot because I wasn't touring and stuff.
That's right.
Like
But you always kept skating.
Yeah.
On the downtime, that's what was
because like when
happening.
you're on tour, like for me, it was like, oh, what if I get hurt? Like, what if I...
Oh, that's true.
I can't hurt.
Dude,
I was
right
a
now,
guitar.
man. If I feel it right
played
now,
guitar,
yeah, you can't fuck up your...
And like, so, and then, yeah, it was like on tour and get hurt. So it was just like, and there was never time either. Like you would get up, go to sound check, and then go eat. And then if you did an interview or like went to the radio station to promote or whatever, and then you would go play the gig.
Yeah.
And then if you had time to party or whatever, you did. If not, you were back on the road or you were going, like you were on to the next.
So you weren't really skating
place.
while you were playing in the band?
Nah, I mean,
not the way you were
If we
skating
weren't on
before.
the road, I did. Yeah. I was.
Okay.
I mean, we used to like get up in the morning and like
Damn.
just go.
Well, we got to touch on all of that because that was a perfect breakdown of what your life is.
Pretty much.
But you also have soccer in there.
Yeah. Played soccer since I could walk. And then it was crazy because like I was super serious into that. I didn't start skating until really after that because I was supposed to go pro when I was 14 to go play in Mexico.
How does all that work? Like, do you, like, is it scouts?
Yeah. They used to have this international tournament every year where we would play in Juarez, and they would bring like the Chivitas, they would bring Cruz Azul would bring their team, Monterrey would bring a team, and there was like they would play against like the all-stars of here.
How old are you? Like 14?
I started going to those tournaments when I was like 10.
Damn.
And then 10 to 14. 14, I was like the Pichichi, the golden boot.
What does that mean?
Pichichi means golden boot in like Span. Like that's what the golden boot is.
Boot?
The golden boot is the guy that scores most goals in the tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
So that year was the year I scored the most goals. And our team, we had like the star fullback. I was like a attacking midfielder, and then we had a bruiser.
How many players?
Sweeper, 4 of us that got scouted by teams, and they were like, they wanted us to go to one of their academies because like we beat all of their teams. And I remember seeing my mom talking to one of the scouts, like waving her hands, like
no.
And I was like, what'd you say? Like I was mad. I was pissed.
So you were actually driven by soccer in the sense that you wanted to climb this ladder.
I wanted to play in Spain. I wanted to play in Barcelona.
Oh damn!
Like that was when Maradona
was that like the first dream? You were like,
yeah,
damn,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
yes, okay.
Yeah. That was I thought it was.
You had the Jerry curls and everything, or what?
No, bro. I had the 80s hockey cut.
Oh shit!
Like, you know,
hell yeah!
With the spike and like the business in the front, party in the back.
Fucking dope
For sure. And then
we're gonna have to overlay fucking all the images.
Stash.
You have to give me images of.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, dude, that'd be sick.
It was like terrible style.
The cheese
like
stash.
The worst style. I hadn't been Europeanized yet. It was like straight. You know.
It's okay. So you 14. You were seeing scouts and stuff, and then what happened?
And then, my parents were like, "You're not going. You're finishing school in the United States. Like, you're not going."
Oh, they wanted you to come.
I was 14, so like that was in 9th grade. So I was like, well, why are we here? Why are we even playing in these tournaments if we're not gonna go?
Yeah. See.
Like,
okay.
So for me, it was just like, if I don't get to do this now, that's it. Like there was nothing in the United States. We didn't even have the MLS. We didn't have.
There's nothing.
There was nothing. There was nothing. No. It was either you go to Mexico and you play in Europe.
That's true.
I wanted to go to Monterrey because they had like a good loan program with Sevilla. So that was like, I'll fucking play there and then I'll go to Spain. And that was my goal, is like to go play in Spain.
Monterrey.
Yeah. But they were like, no, you're not going. And I remember I wanted to murder, like for real.
You started plotting?
Murder. Like I was going to kill my parents, go to Mexico, change my identity. And then the Menendez brothers.
Shut the fuck
up. For real, dude.
You're hilarious.
I was that angry. And then the Menendez trial happened, and I don't think I should do this. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life. I had a little baby brother, and I was just like, but I was really like, I was for real.
You were scheming.
I was like, they've quit my dream. I was like,
but did they get you into the dream, or was it something that you wanted to get into and they were just backing? Like they obviously saw it as like a
no.
Just
when
like
we were little,
hobby.
Everybody played. Like I had friends that went to the NFL, and I wanted to. Like I was little though.
Yeah.
Like just to give you an idea, I'm 5'11" now. I'm about a 160-ish. When I graduated high school, I was 5'4" and 96 pounds. I had my like
feather light.
Yeah. I was little. I was like the late bloomer. Like my spring semester, freshman year in college, I grew like 6 inches.
Oh shit.
So I was little, and like all my friends were playing football, American football.
Yeah.
So my parents were like, no, like that's not for you. Yeah. Like you're gonna get killed. Like, you know. And I was like, I could be the kicker. And my dad's like, why don't you try soccer if you want to kick?
Okay, that's what it was.
So then I was like, oh, okay, but that was like, because I played baseball like in first grade.
Yeah, but it was always competition for you. You always thought it was like, dude, sports. I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, my dad, just to give you an idea, I'm spawn of a jet fighter pilot. My dad flew planes in Vietnam.
Sick.
So I inherited the precisionness.
What's that anime that you used to always play on Channel 32? I think Supercampeones. Did you ever watch that? It's like an anime, like a soccer anime. Bro, it's gnarly.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
My favorite soccer movie is Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah, it's sort of like that.
It's like
but that's like a live action, right? That's a live action, but it's like the anime version.
Yeah.
Where like the soccer ball is going so fast it turns into a disc.
There is a lot of like crossover
like
to that from that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially with the and props for knowing that movie.
Oh yeah, dude,
that's one of my probably top 5 movies.
Yeah. Well, you love soccer, so that translates like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, obviously, so like you were pissed because that was like your whole life.
Yeah.
That's literally your whole life. That's it's everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of how. After that, I still played like in high school and like
hacky sack.
No, soccer. Like I was on the soccer team in high school, and like we did pretty good. I think we got like second in district, and like, but like there was no scouts after that.
Yeah,
like we were too old by then. Like if you're not already getting minutes on the pro team at 17,
no wonder you were
18,
scheming. It's like a ticket out of here. It's like, dude,
I was ready. I was like, the problem with El Paso is like there's no, for the youth, is like there's no future. Like there is, but there isn't. Like there's the people that are like, no,
you have to
gotta
really
stay
look
here,
for it. You got to really look for it.
Now it's a lot different. Like before, like I remember growing up, because I started skateboarding, I started playing in bands. We're like, how are we gonna do it here? Like I have to go to LA or New York, because otherwise you're going to be stuck here. And then there were the guys like I grew up with, like Jim and like the guys from At the Drive-In and Tony. Tony's actually was one of my neighbors in Silver Lake in LA.
Sick.
So we had our kids like in the same soccer program.
Yeah, it was like the same bubble.
Yeah. It was cool. It was like I went from living in the northeast of El Paso to living in the northeast of LA.
Damn, that's gnarly.
Which is, pretty cool. But yeah, I was there. I moved to Tempe first because I was in a band that I thought we were gonna like do it with that band, but then that band broke up, and then I got into that movie, and then I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this. This is, I mean,
but you had already had like a whole life. Okay, that's soccer.
I had 2 careers already.
Exactly. Well, pretty much because that was soccer, and then skating. You went just as hard. Yeah. So how did all that start?
Skating started because my younger brother and another friend Ian, they were riding around, and my friend Ian had his older brother who was older than us a little bit.
And this is here in El Paso?
Yeah, in El Paso. Cool. I was here in El Paso all through high school.
Yeah.
But like they had a quarter pipe in the backyard.
They built it.
And everybody would hang out there.
That's
yeah.
funny.
And like I would see them. And
how was the transition though? Was it gnarly?
No, it was a good transition. It was like a perfect 6.
Oh, okay.
Like kind of like the
Gallegos.
Yeah. Like,
dude, that was butter.
Maybe a little bit smaller. Little bit.
Yeah, but the transition
like
is
mellow, nice, and I would see them people riding skateboards, and I was like, I don't know, like 10-ish, 11-ish, around that age, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this out, and I would get.
What year was this? Do you remember? Okay, what was
1985.
So what was Venture was already out, right?
No, well. Not the Ventures
like the crazy.
They had a version of a Venture truck that looked more like Thunders.
Oh, little tiny ones?
No, like
they were already
more like Thunders, like wider trucks. Yeah. But then the Venture Lows that came out in the 90s, that changed everything.
So then what were you skating? What trucks were you?
Back then I rode. My first trucks were tracker trucks.
Trackers, dude. Yes, I've heard of those.
I got a John Lucero from Schmidt with tracker trucks, and then the wheels.
But wait, time out. How did you get that set up here in El Paso? Like, because that's like kosher, but that's like that board is.
There was, not Surf and Skate. It was before Skate City.
Damn, I don't even know what's before Skate City.
I'm forgetting the
before
name.
Christ.
Yeah.
This is sugar.
Yeah. Was it? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm not gonna wake up at 3 in the morning and remember the name. And,
damn it!
And
is it something like silly, like because not that it's silly, but it's it's like usually like Blade and Skate City, Skate. This, you know what I mean? Like, was it something like that, or was it something like?
It was
Cherry Skate Shop.
It was pre Skate City.
Okay.
And then there was Gadzooks.
Oh
at Bassett Center.
Dude, Gadzooks. Is it like the original Spencer's?
I don't know.
Gadzooks was
Did
like.
Did Spencer sell skateboards?
Nah, they just had like dildos and weird shit.
Gadzooks is like I think Journeys.
Oh, okay, Journeys. There you go.
That's what I meant. Sold skateboards,
that's what I meant. Yeah, it's like
that's
Journeys.
What Gadzooks was like.
The Journey vibe. Yeah.
That's what Gadzooks was. And but that was like 88. So 85.
So you saw the whole transformation. Yeah. And we didn't even have a scene here. But you were already connected to that whole like Cali vibe.
Yeah. The first demo and the first person I ever saw do a handrail was Nadas.
Damn.
When they came to the demo, and that's when they were at Pepper Tree Square, the first Skate City.
Pepper Tree Square.
Yeah, that's like Mesa.
History, guys. History.
And Festival, like on the corner. There's like
probably
a shopping
still
center.
there. Probably
There's a Pepsi Square. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
There's like I forget the name of the sushi place that was there. Recently they closed down. Rest in peace. But Nodis came for a demo, and I remember
mind blown.
I was like, I saw him. Just there was a handrail, and he just did a handrail first time, and I was like, whoa! I was like, you can ride handrails, like
But it was in your face. It wasn't on a magazine. It wasn't on a.
No, it wasn't like live. I hadn't seen it. I don't think I had even seen like any of the videos yet.
Oh shit!
Like Wheels of the only video I saw before that I think was Future Primitive, the Powell video. The Powell videos were the ones that were always like
circulating.
The first ones to circulate.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean. Later on, like Animal Chin was that was like the big, like kind of like in the 90s, it was the Plan B video. Mm-hmm. For the 80s, the Animal Chin video where they had they mixed it up with like scripted narrative.
That's what I love, dude.
It was like a movie.
I mean, that's why I fell in love with Girl, because it's like a movie. Yeah. It's story driven.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So
okay, you get your setup. You're what? You said you were 16?
No, I was like I think 12.
Damn, back to back like that from soccer?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. Well, you needed something, otherwise you would have killed somebody.
I was gonna kill my parents.
Death by
I love my mom and dad, by the way.
No, I know.
I do.
I've been there, bro. I've schemed.
But that was definitely the beginning of my teenage angst. You know what I mean?
No, but it's gasoline, right? Like that was like you full tank.
They literally didn't let me pursue my dream.
What? You think that's like a Mexican thing?
I think.
Does that? Because what does it stem off of? That's not jealousy. It's not control. It's almost like self.
I think maybe because they went to school in Mexico, they didn't think the schools were good enough because I was going.
Okay, they already had it mapped out in their head. Like
they were just like, no, you're staying.
You're
doing.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
how'd they feel about the skating? Were they like, what the fuck is this?
No, I mean they were pretty ambivalent. Like they would give us money to get stuff.
Sick.
You know what I mean? Like. They were supportive.
Yeah. Same.
But it was never. We always had what we needed.
Yeah.
We had to work for what we wanted.
Ooh,
so it was kind of like that work ethic for sure.
For sure, dude.
Like it was never like I mean, I definitely had a period where I was riding peanut boards for a while. Like
wait, what the fuck is a peanut board?
Like the board that's just destroyed.
Yeah, is that what you guys call them?
Peanut board. Yeah,
plenty of those, dude. Had a whole sack of them.
And. So there was that period, and then there was a period like going into high school. Me and my brother figured out like, dude, the blanks, they're the same thing. We don't need graphics. We could get 3 of these boards for the price of one of those.
Blanks,
and we could do we're sponsored. We can.
And you do your own thing on it too.
Yeah, I'm doing. That's what I'm doing now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I have my model.
Pro board.
Go to my Instagram. You can see my pro model.
Yeah, dude.
Not available.
Hella tight.
Thank you. But. My brother realized that we could get shapes that we liked and try out different shapes.
And it's half the price.
We could get 3 boards almost.
For the price of one.
We get 3 for one.
Damn.
So we were just like, oh, dude, now. And we realized, if you want to be at that level, you got to ride at that level. At the same time, you have to have the good equipment.
Yeah.
You can't be riding a board that's falling apart because it's going to affect everything. You have to have shoes you actually use.
You're already thinking like that.
Yeah, I mean, it stemmed from soccer.
Exactly.
Because it was a sport. We saw it as a sport. Even though, when we started skating, we were an outlaw.
Yeah.
You were a skate punk.
Yeah. That's exactly what people. You're a punk.
You guys are a punk.
You're punks.
And I remember people, when I got my driver's license at 16, people would be like, "Oh, that's cool. Now you can quit skating."
Really?
People thought I would skate because of it's a transportation thing. And then I would tell people, I go, "No, now I could drive myself to the spot."
People don't even know the perspective of a skater. They
They
see it as a form of transportation.
Yeah.
Dude, you're right.
I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I explained to her about what we went through.
Yeah.
And she's like, "But it's in the Olympics."
Yeah. Now
she's like, "What?"
She can't see it the way.
No. Yeah. I mean, luckily, but we were outlaws, literally outlaws.
So arrested many times or what?
Chased by the cops for sure,
yeah.
Dude. Oh, I have a story. 10 years old. My brother is 7. We had 2 other friends who were 8 and 9. We're skating at Veterans Park.
Okay.
Before the skate park was there, but it was tennis courts. We're skating on the tennis courts, dude. Mm-hmm. Skateboarding. We're little. I already told you how big I was when I graduated high school. So you can imagine me at 11,
How many?
10.
How many? 4 of you?
There's 4 of us.
Yeah.
Little kids.
Okay.
The youngest was 7, oldest was 10.
Ooh, what are those
11,
kids doing
you know?
over there?
So we see, I don't know if you know Veterans Park, but there's like the tennis court, and then there's like a big patch of grass from the street from rushing.
That's still there.
Yeah, it's still set up there. A cop car hopped the curb, cop car with the lights, siren going, hauling ass on the grass to where the tennis court was. They jumped out with their guns drawn.
What, bro?
Yeah. Guns
What?
drawn, and we're skating, and we're like, what's going on? And they fucking pointed the guns at us, and they said, freeze.
And then?
And we're just like, what? We're skateboarding. Like, yeah.
And when they
They called, the people from the rec center had called and said that we were destroying the property or whatever.
And then what happened?
And then they were like, what's your name? And we all like, I was like, Dave Smith. My brother was like Tommy Guerrero.
Yeah, some fucking shit.
Yeah, but like we were 10, dude.
That's crazy.
They drew their guns on us, dude.
Dude, that's sketchy, dude. Over skating?
Cops for skateboarding.
Nah, I mean, it hasn't gotten that far with us, but not guns out.
Guns
They'll take they take your board, but that's
guns
pretty
out
much
on
it.
children.
That's crazy. And then, so you were all traumatized or what?
No, I was pissed.
Oh, okay.
Like that only fueled
you're like,
my
I'm doing the
angst,
right thing.
You know what I mean? For the whole punk authority thing. And
but it's also like the confidence of it too. It's like not a lot of 10-year-olds go through that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, we were scared. Yeah, obviously they had their guns on us.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but for me, it was more like, why are they having their guns out? What are we doing? That's so.
It's
crazy.
you're getting firsthand feel like the experience of when they say like fuck the police and that type of stuff.
Hey
it's
man,
like,
nobody wrote a song called "Fuck the Fire Department." Just saying. Nobody wrote that song.
History, guys.
But
History.
people did write.
You're right, dude.
You know what
That's
I mean?
a very good point.
So that was my definitely.
Damn.
That happened.
No, I believe you.
10
Yeah,
years
no,
old.
it was never that serious with us. But I'm sure some stuff happened. And then, so okay, you kept going. Obviously, you started pursuing skateboarding a lot more.
Yeah.
You started skating with pros and stuff, no?
Yeah, we started like we were kind of like the Skate City team or whatever.
Yeah.
It was never official, but like there were the people that skated at the demo. When people came to the demo,
That was the team.
you were whoever it was, and it was like, it was kind of like, okay, like stay out of the way. They like we realized that it's not here about us. Like they came to see these guys, but like to fill out the session, because there was like maybe 5 pros.
Sort of like an opener for a band or like
Exactly.
stand up. You have your opener.
You're
Okay.
in there for the session, and then like if you see a pro go, you don't snake the fucking pros.
yeah.
There were sometimes
You think that's where the etiquette comes from? Demos?
it had to be.
Had to be, right? Yeah.
Because there was definitely like the snake or be snaked.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know,
That's where it
like
started.
That,
Snake!
You know, you definitely have that, but like there was always like the hometown hero or whatever, but never
The hometown
you know what I
hero?
mean? Like our hometown hero is gonna outdo your pro, or like he should sponsor him.
That
or,
kind
like,
of shit's still going on to this day.
Yeah. Classic humans. But like we never
Classic
classic humans.
Yeah.
But we never. I don't remember. Like I remember having great sessions.
Yeah.
And like everybody like is pumped. Like I remember one time. I forget who Ronnie Krieger was a demo. I remember seeing him when I realized how good these guys were. We set up. My brother had a Jeep Cherokee.
Oh,
and
they
we
were doing
set
shit
it
over
up
cars.
lengthwise.
Yeah, dude, you guys are doing gnarly shit.
We set it up lengthwise, and we had like a jump ramp and a lander.
Yeah.
And my brother was like, "You guys better not," And then I was like, "Nah, dude." And then I remember I saw Ronnie Krieger first try, dude. Frontside flipped it.
What?
Frontside flipped it over like beautiful. And then I remember it looked like he was in slow motion.
Yeah.
And then I remember just seeing him
Tweak it
look
and-
at it, and then I saw him lift his leg
Nah.
to put his board like the same angle as the landing
Nah.
ramp. And then he just and then I was just in there. I was like, oh, and then I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I
Live
wanted to
boner, dude.
I got
juiced.
I got juice to do it. And I remember pushing as hard as I could go, dude, as fast as I could go.
Yeah.
And I remember I ollied it, thinking, oh my god, I'm not gonna make it. And then I barely made it. I made it, and then I was like, that was it. I was like, I'm done. Like I'm
That's
cooked.
so crazy,
I'm
though,
cooked.
dude.
Like I ollied it, but like
That was at a demo?
yeah, that was at it was a Skate City demo, but I don't know if you remember on Montana, there used to be this wood place called Cashway. No. It was like they had closed down, and we had basically the whole parking lot. It was like Montana and Airway, kind of that intersection. Okay. It was like right there,
Yeah.
and it was like I forget who he was skating for, but like the Ronnie Krieger was there. It might have been the Stereo.
I could see that, yeah. Because arcades still came.
I can't remember.
Like when I started. Yeah, it had to have been
Ronnie
stereo.
Krieger, but I remember I had a slip out. I was using these wheels. That's when like we were using like 50 and below millimeter the bearing covers.
Yeah, that's literally
during
what
that
it is.
era.
Yeah.
And like if you had one slip out, it was
That's
like
it.
wheel spots. Your,
Yeah.
your wheels were cooked. I had one slip out.
That was like the vibe, right? Like,
Shout out to Ronnie Krieger. Thank you for giving me wheels.
Shout
He
out
saw
to
that I
Ronnie
had gotten like
Krieger.
really bad like.
he gave even smaller ones. He's
And he
like,
gave
"You need
me
these,
he goes
bro."
he gave me his wheels like he had like they were new wheels, but he goes here.
They're all
he goes,
worn
he gave me
down.
wheels. They were brand new. Like
Oh,
the
really?
Yeah, the brand new wheels.
Psych.
He gave me
Okay,
like
okay,
he
okay.
goes here, bro. I was like, oh, dude, thanks, because like I had one slip out and my wheels were cooked.
That's sick though. You started building community just like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because a lot of people, it's because that's the thing. You either get intimidated by pros, or you exactly like what you said. You give them their space,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But those interactions, man, it's
Yeah.
kind of rare.
it was like, well, I mean, here we had the advantage because we were skating ramps that we knew.
True.
So we had
Yeah.
kind of home court advantage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like we all realized this was a promotional thing for the shop. Like, you know what I mean? We were thinking entrepreneurially. Like I was at least thinking.
You were.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
thinking like, okay, because I knew Peter and the guys from, you know, Skate City. They were always like, yeah, dude, come skate, go ahead. Like, you know, just, you know, be cool. Like, you know, let them. And I go, yeah, I know. Like, they're not here to see me, bro. They're here to see like, you know,
Facts.
like when we skated at Cielo Vista with Lance Mountain and the Powell team. That was like so much fun. And I remember that was crazy because like we were on the news. Like they had the
They
sign.
broadcast it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
News Channel 9.
yeah, here, you know, Cielo Vista Mall. Like they had the Powell sign on the Cielo Vista.
That's dope. There
that
has
was
to be
demo
footage
in
of
the
that.
Skate City.
I'm sure there's some
That
there.
was on like I forget the video.
Yeah.
We weren't on the video, but the demo was on the video.
It has to be on YouTube somewhere.
So that was like
We
when
gotta
they
find
had. They were carrying their own ramps. They had like a blue half pipe
That's
that they
sick.
brought, and we skated.
So they just broke it down and then we'll just
Yeah.
travel with it.
And there was like a few of us that were transition skaters, and I mean, I skated everything, but like maybe like only a handful of us skated vert. Like everybody else was street skaters, but like
So you were strictly vert?
no, I skated everything. But like
because today I saw
vert
that. I was
fun.
like, no, you skate everything, dude.
Yeah, vert for me, like, I mean, I look at mega ramp skaters
Mm-hmm.
and like, no offense to the street skaters, because the street skaters get my respect too, but
Talking
like,
shit.
you can't, you take any, I don't think Costin would have dropped down into the, you know, the stuff
Yeah.
that Bob Burnquist is doing.
Nah, nah,
even
nah,
though
nah.
Costin is gnarly.
He is gnarly.
Gnarly.
I think it's a different.
One of the best of all time.
Oh, for sure.
But even Scheckler, when in that
Have you
video,
seen his new part?
Where it's
Oh my
it's gnarly.
god,
It's so
dude!
gnarly.
But see
It's
that
so
that to me is a
Like,
vert skater
I
or
look
like
at
a
it,
mega ramp
I look at
skater.
it and my bones like
dude,
ache.
right? I know, dude.
Yeah, but like I got pretty good, and then I got hurt.
What'd you injure?
Broke my ankle in 2 places skating vert. Like I was like at Skate Street in Ventura.
That really fucks everything up.
And we were pushing it. Like it again, remember earlier I was like, I know now not to push it.
Yes, you
And
did.
we
You
were-
pushed it by a hair, and you're all never mind.
Well, because we were the setup at Ventura. It was called the place called Skate Street.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a 6-foot quarter, and then it was an angle, so you could air in and then land, and then it went down into a pit,
Nice.
into like a big like. I mean, it was like a 14-foot tall wall ride.
Yeah, but you got to do all that to get to pump the speed to
and you
get to
pump up
that.
the wall ride, and you fly out, and when you would come out the other side, you were going, you know,
dude.
you were going
That's sick.
roof high.
It's
so
over.
I dropped in, and I remember I got into the pit, and I remember I did like
With
one
the
of
speed
these,
wobbles?
and I was like, fuck, and then I got onto the wall, going way too fast. I tried to ditch the board. I was 14 feet high, like, you know what I mean? So like when I came down, my foot got stuck behind me, and
Ate shit.
yeah, well,
That's
I
what-
got out of socket, and like,
Oh, damn.
yeah, I had to get
Yeah, the injuries, I can only imagine the injuries. They don't it's different. Like you're smacking concrete. When you're launching yourself up in the air, dude, your body's on another level, right? Like coming down that hard, you can't do, you really can't do anything about it.
I just remember my body went into shock, and I thought something's wrong. Something
throw
feels,
up?
Something feels. No. I drove my car home after that. I looked at it, and my foot was sideways,
Dude.
and then it went. It popped back into socket, and when it popped back into socket, it broke the other side.
Dude.
And I remember sitting there, and I was like,
There's no blood, it didn't puncture or anything. It was just
no. But like
bones
it
out.
swelled. Like, and I remember the guys that were there were like, "Are you all right?" They came out because they saw everything, and they helped because I was in the pit.
I'm leaving, man.
And they dragged me out of the pit to help me up.
okay.
And then I was like, I know I don't walk on it. I was like, I'm not walking on it. So we went to like the skate park first aid or whatever. And I sat there and they were just like, I could see in their eyes, they were like
this
freaked
isn't
out.
good, dude.
And I was sitting there and I could still wiggle my toes and I could still move my foot.
Yeah.
Like I had movement. And then I was like, they were like, do you need us to call the ambulance? Like, you know, they were freaking out.
They always make a scene.
And I mean, they were doing what they were supposed to. I go, no, dude. I go, you know what?
It's $1,000.
I go, help me get to my car.
So you're crazy.
I'll drive my car home. Because my roommate at the time was an orthopedic technician.
Oh, shit.
At Kaiser Permanente.
Hooked up.
So I was just like,
Girl, I
called him. I go, hey. I go, Derek.
What are you, a hitman too?
Shout
what the hell?
Shout out to Derek Friedman. Thank you. And I called him. And he's like, what do you mean you did something to your ankle? Like he didn't know. And I got in the car at the skate park. And they're like, you sure? Like they didn't want me to leave.
It was your right foot?
Right foot, yeah.
Yeah, you're goofy.
And I drove the car in the parking lot. It was a stick shift. And then
Wally,
they're like, you sure, dude? I go, yeah, dude. I was in Ventura, bro. It was an hour drive to LA. I drove to fucking LA.
And LA traffic?
Yeah. In LA
with a
traffic.
broken fucking ankle?
And I drove, and it felt good in the because of the
tripping?
It was like it had to been adrenaline. And I remember I drove into the hospital, and my roommate was there waiting for me, and he goes, "Dude, what happened? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then I go get a wheelchair because they helped me get out of the car, and he's like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, you know."
Yeah, why are you being all mysterious?
Yeah. So like we get out of the car, and he looks at my ankle, and I saw his eyes go.
It's because it does
and
look freaky.
He took me straight to the, I was hooked up because we went straight to the x-ray. He came back out. He goes, dude, you need surgery, bro. I go, I don't know how. He's like, I don't know how you're here. Because like he told me like.
It's the adrenaline.
That kind of injury, they bring people in hysterical, like freaking out, like freak. And
yeah, you know what, dude? I've never seen skaters go crazy over injuries.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Probably because we have that threshold of pain that we build up over time.
That's true, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. Like you're kind of not there, but you don't freak out. Well, I mean, I've never freaked out. I've never seen anybody fucking trip out or anything.
Yeah. I think it was because over time you build up your tolerance.
Yeah, you're compounding all of that pain, and then you're almost expecting it to, like, all right, it finally happens. You know.
I always followed like Native American
that's tight.
Stories and stuff, and I remember hearing about the Native Americans that would hang themselves.
Oh yes,
with the hooks
dude.
And stuff, and they would sit there for like days.
Some cell shit
for days, and I go, how do they do that? And I remember reading, and it always stayed with me. It was like you don't run away from the pain.
You sit in it.
You go to it.
Oh, you run towards it. Dive into it. I like that.
Seeing that, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's when all the Jackass stuff happened with the guys in Jackass, sense. And I go, oh, okay, that's what. Not that I'm like cutting myself or like getting hurt or stuff, but
you
like
emo?
Now I'm like, I'll stub my toe on the table and I'll be like, ah. But like my roommate came out and he's like, dude,
you're lucky.
You need surgery, dude.
Did you get nerve damage?
No. I mean, I actually have more mobility.
Nice.
Because I did the rehab. The rehab was the most painful part of all
people
of that.
don't do
the
that.
Whole process.
Skaters don't do rehab.
The whole, like the injury and all that. I remember they put it in a cast, and then I was waiting. I had to wait because it was like on a Saturday, bro. And then I had to wait Sunday to Monday
it's like jail.
to get the operation on Monday.
So you're just chilling.
And when they put it in the cast, that's when it started paining because then it started throbbing.
So they put rods?
It's a plate and two screws on the inside.
And that's still in there?
Yeah. I could get the operation to get it out.
But there's no need.
But yeah, the doctor's like, you could live with that.
I mean, dude, if you're skating the way you're skating like that now.
Now with like technology, I'm ready to go full cyborg.
What do you mean? What are you trying to do?
Printed,
yeah, dude.
Everything.
Neuralink?
Just change them out. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Shout out to Boston Dynamics. Shout out to Boston Dynamics. I'm down.
Gear.
I'm down to go full cyborg. The technology will be ready. 3D printed, whatever, dude.
It's happening.
It's happening.
If we're talking
in
about
our lifetime,
it's happening, dude.
Yeah. Preserve the hard drive. Everything else exchangeable like a car.
Okay, so then let's touch on a little bit of the music because you went just as hard with the music.
Yeah.
How did all that start? What was the first band, and what's the type of band you were in?
Punk band.
All right. What'd you play?
Guitar. I started on guitar, but then I ended up out of necessity playing all the instruments because like it was like if I could do it all over again, I would have played bass or drums.
Why does everybody
because
say
in LA
bass first?
that's the hardest thing to find is a good bass player and a good drummer.
Really?
Always, especially bass players.
Because everyone wants to sing and play guitar.
Everybody wants to be the guitar player.
Gotcha.
And I grew up kind of in the 80s when it was like Van Halen and shit. And so all the
shit.
shredders and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it started as a kid, really, but like in 4th grade, I wanted to learn how to play guitar, and my mom was like, "I'll get you a guitar." And we went, and I got one lesson, and I wanted to learn Van Halen.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Van Halen was.
Van Halen.
And I remember the guy was like trying to teach me Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I was just like, no, bro, I want to learn Van Halen. What are you teaching me? What are you teaching me Mary Had a Little Lamb for? And then he's like, because you have to learn this before you get to that. And I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's
I
like
was
skating though.
No, I go, if I want to learn that song, I should just learn that song.
That's how you were thinking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go, why learn this? That's not the song I want to learn. And
Wally the Rebel.
Yeah, exactly. I was 4th grade. But then I didn't do anything. My parents got me like a keyboard when I was around like 11, and I messed around with it.
A little Casio or what?
No, it was like a Yamaha.
Oh, damn.
Like it had a sampler on it.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, it's
Keep it going. Keep it rolling.
So I got a keyboard, and then I messed around with it, like, you know,
Yeah.
because it's so tactical. It's all the notes are in line,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't learn to play piano. I learned to like
Jam?
mess with sounds and.
Oh, okay. Self-taught.
But then, everything I've ever done was self-taught.
That builds a whole different muscle, I think.
Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, I always looked at it like, I'll just figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
why do I need lessons when I can figure it out?
That's true.
If they're going to teach me what I don't want to learn,
Yeah.
I'll just figure it out.
Amen, brother.
Same with skateboarding. You know what I mean? Like
And
we had that
soccer,
aesthetic.
apparently.
Yeah. And maybe the soccer stuff, because I'm.
I think that's where it started.
I'm good with my legs. In skateboarding, you have to be good with your legs, so that's kind of like the crossover.
That's a really good form. I never even thought of that,
And
dude.
then because my father was a jet fighter
Damn, your
pilot.
father.
My father.
Oh, you see my father.
My father was a jet fighter pilot.
That's so sick, dude. So that's eyes.
that's the
His eyes and his
I
hand-eye
inherited
coordination.
the hand-eye coordination.
And then you
from
built
all
the
of that.
legs. Hey, full cyborg. That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah.
All right, keep going. Keep
It's gonna
going.
be a conspiracy. They're not gonna let me do the Olympics because I'm too cyborg. He's not human
That's gonna
anymore.
be there, right?
He's not human anymore. And then
So Casio, Yamaha. So you started learning pretty much all the instruments.
a little bit, yeah, but like messing around.
You had an understanding
I didn't
of it.
write my first song until like later, way.
And do you
later.
have that like in your family, or is there any musicians or anybody who mess with music?
Apparently, my grandfather on my mom's side played violin.
For the war? Because mine did for the war. A lot of like, well, in Mexico.
I don't know. He was a chemist.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there were. You know that that town Nica, Chihuahua. They have the mine, the quartz mine.
That sounds so familiar.
That's
Nica?
where my mom. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where my mom's
Chihuahua.
From. Yeah, Chihuahua. That's where my mom's from. My grandfather was like a chemist for that mine, and like as a hobby, he played like in a quartet.
Oh, that's tight.
So I don't know, like, what war was during that period? Like World War II, maybe?
Yeah, it must have. Yeah.
How involved was Mexico in World War II?
No. This was.
It had to have been during that time, but I don't think
It was probably already over. For sure, it was over.
Maybe.
If he was a chemist and he was doing that and it was a hobby, it had to have been over.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little bit. There's a little splash.
So there's that, and then I remember as a young kid, my grandfather on my dad's side,
Yeah.
he would play the harmonica, and I would sit on his lap.
Yeah, dude.
And that's I think where I get perfect pitch.
Yes, dude. I was about to say
all
that.
The notes, like he would.
So
play,
we know how. And then the
he would play
whistling. The whistling comes from a harmonica. That's my theory.
Had to be. Yeah.
You know.
Although I'm not, I guess I'm okay at whistling.
What?
I want to whistle. I want to learn to whistle like the
fucking-
loud ass like. I gotta learn that whistle.
That's hilarious.
But but the guitar playing happened at Texas A&M because I had a friend. Shout out to Josh Marcourt.
Shout out.
He lived down the hall my freshman year, and he had two guitars. He had a Ibanez RGZ, and he had a
think we have an Ibanez
Fender,
here.
a Japanese-made Fender Strat
Damn,
that I bought from him at the end of that year because he sold it to me. He
Sick.
was like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of this."
So
But
you fall in love with shit and then you go full force.
all in always. There's the only way
All
to-
in always.
That's the only way
I
to
like
do
that.
things. It's the only way to do things.
Yeah.
Only way. But he would be sitting there and he would just be noodling, dude. And he would play like crazy stuff, like just the most melodic, cool licks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "What song was that?"
Just
And then
riffing, dog.
he would go, "I don't know, I just made that up."
Dirty.
And then I go, "I'm gonna learn how to do that."
That's tight.
So then he had two guitars, so he would always be playing the Ibanez RGZ. It was the same one that Dave Navarro had, like in Jane's, and then the Strat was kind of like his extra, but he was just like, "Yeah, you can borrow it. Like, let me borrow that so I can at least." And then later at the end of the year, he sold me that guitar, which I still have.
Did you ask for it? Or did he sell it to you?
No. He's like, he asked me. He's like, yeah. He's
type.
like, hey, I'm getting rid of, because he was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. Because I think he got like an internship somewhere where he had to travel across the country, and he was getting rid of stuff. And he goes, I'm getting rid of this Strat. He goes, do you want it? And I go, yeah, I'll take it. Like whatever.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I have it. If you go on my Instagram, you can see it. I rebuilt it with gold foil pickups.
That's so
it sounds
dirty.
like Radiohead's The Bends now. It sounds awesome.
Dude, now your whole Instagram is definitely translating. You know what I mean? It's because you're a time machine, and your recall is, what do you eat, dog?
I read
Omegas.
No, it's from when I worked on camera and acting. I would have to read.
Perfect.
I would have to read.
This is good transition.
From school, I was good at math, and I knew like how to figure out math, and I had a good memory always. I think I got it from my dad. My dad was a jet fighter pilot, so he had to know.
But yeah, you
stuff.
retain. You got to retain all that stuff.
I get it from that, but at the same time, I had to read scripts and remember lines.
Yeah.
So I had that.
And how did that journey start? Where did movies come into play?
I was in a band that got on a soundtrack, and then we played at the premiere of the movie because we were on the soundtrack.
Sick.
And the director came up to me at the party. He goes, hey, it's like, you guys are really good. I go, have you ever thought about acting? And I have friends who are actors who had told me that before. Like, we're telling me, wow, you got to like try acting. And I was like, acting? I was like, I don't know.
Really?
I'm playing in bands. Like, this is my, I thought acting was like Broadway and jazz hands and all that stuff. And, I was like, that's not for me. Mm-hmm. But they were like, you should just consider it. And then when the director guy, I forget his name, but the movie was called Forever Midnight.
Okay, yes.
And he was like,
what type of movie was this? What genre?
This was what?
What was the genre of the movie?
It's like a comedy,
high
school comedy.
Okay.
Like, independent movie made in Tempe, Arizona.
Gotcha.
Or Phoenix. And he told me, he's like, have you ever thought about acting? I go, you know what? My friends have told me this. You're telling me this. I go, maybe I should pursue it because he goes, yeah. He goes, here. He gave me the number of this agent, and I called her, Dana Green. Shout out to Dana Green, my first agent. I went to meet with her on Tuesday. And she goes, well, you don't really have much experience, but you have you got referred to me by a director. I need people who speak Spanish. Hablo español. And that Thursday, I got called for a commercial for Checker Auto Parts.
What?
To play a soccer player.
Nah.
Yes.
What?
That was my first. I booked my first national commercial.
Dude, that's fucking
from Tuesday
weird,
to
Wally.
Thursday. You know what I mean?
That's fucking weird, bro.
Right?
Yes,
Crazy.
dude.
Crazy.
Were you tripping?
No, I was like, this is mine. Like, I have this
It's like,
job.
dude, what do you mean?
I
It's
went
like-
to the audition, and I didn't know anything, dude. I didn't know, I showed up, the guy goes, okay, stand on your mark, we're going to slate you. And then it might as well have been Chinese.
Yo,
like, you're going to, He goes, stand on that piece of tape.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
So I'm already learning on the job. Like,
Sick.
oh, that's a mark. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a mark was.
You weren't scared of this?
I didn't know. No, well, the reason why...
All the confidence that you had built up from all the shit that
playing
you've been doing your whole life, pretty much.
I had confidence.
You're like, this is...
I think I inherited that from my father also as a jet fighter pilot.
Yeah.
I keep harping on that because...
all gas, no brakes.
All of that, you know what I mean? So I show up, I brought a soccer ball. The guy was like, hey, do you think you could do one of those backflip kicks?
God damn.
And then I go, you mean a bicycle?
Yeah.
I go, all day, any day I could do scissor kicks. I go, here's my soccer ball. And I started juggling the ball. And I was just juggling and juggling.
Bro,
like,
who is this guy?
I walk out.
Are you a skater too?
Yeah. That was my second acting job. That was my second. Hold on, that was the second acting job. So Tuesday to Thursday, I do the audition. I'm leaving the audition. My pager blows up. 1998.
Damn, you mean this, bro? Not this. You're doing this.
That's the little Motorola pager. And then I see it's my agent, and she goes, I don't know what you did, but you're booked. So from that Tuesday, Thursday to the next Tuesday, I was doing my first national commercial.
Is that how she became your manager?
Agent, yeah.
Your agent?
Yeah. The director was like, called. She's like, and I booked a national first audition.
That is so sick.
So I did that, and then later that month, I got called to go to Tucson for they needed a skater.
And you were down just like that. You're like, yeah, let's do this shit.
I mean, it was like $800 a day, like for a principal, like.
Damn.
And then I started getting these checks.
The residuals
checks. I didn't know residuals. I didn't know it was like.
It was auto. It was what was it? Checkers.
Oh, this will be cool. This will be a cool check to do like every now and then. $800 a day.
Damn, Checkers,
I looked at it
dude.
as a gig, right?
Yeah, no, this.
And then I asked. I go. well, how long am I getting these? He goes, well, the contract's for 2 years. And I was like, 2 years? I was like, I went and bought Uta Hagen's book, A Challenge for the Actor.
So sick.
And I was like, I'm gonna learn everything there is to know about acting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're like, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, at least.
Yeah. In that time, you're nothing. Everything's checking off. There's no hurdles really. It's all kind of paving itself.
I was
you
like,
just have to show up and actually go and do the work, right?
I mean, not that I've had this crazy career, but it's been a crazy career.
Yeah, so far it has been.
Literally, that same year, at the end of the fall, I had a job. I was managing a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
My trail off from my engineering days, I was managing a warehouse. I set up an inventory control system with this company that had like valves. They did valves like with the water and power for they had a contract.
Some industrial shit.
I got laid off.
Okay.
My girlfriend in 3 years broke up with me.
Gnarly.
The band I thought I was going to conquer the world with broke up.
Wow.
And the next day, my agent calls me and she goes, hey, you know that movie you auditioned for, Three Kings, for Warner Brothers? Bad news is you didn't get the part. The good news is they want to hire you as an Iraqi soldier. It's for 2 months.
Yes, I saw that.
And I had just gotten off the phone with my dad where he was like, well, it's a good time to go back to school, like finish your degree. And I was like, no, I'm going to go.
I want to play soccer.
I'm going to go be in this movie. And then that was crazy because I got hired for 2 months and David O. Russell was coming off of a $5 million movie. This was originally budgeted at $55 million. It skyrocketed to $100 million because he wasn't making his days.
Oh shit.
You know? So he was getting
it just
behind
overlaps.
every day.
It's just like interest almost.
Yeah. And there was days where we were just sitting around waiting.
Just burning time.
Doing like we were there on Avail. They're paying us.
Yeah, everything's paid.
I mean, I read books. We played hacky sack. And I remember after like the third month, I figured out who the producer was. Charles Roven.
Dude, you just freaking...
Yeah. And I went up to Mr. Roven and I go, Mr. Roven, my name's Wally Lozano. I studied mechanical engineering at Texas A&M. I'm telling you that just so you know that I'm not a dummy. This is my first studio picture. I'm sitting here in this tent, not learning anything. Would it be okay if I was a fly on the wall on set so that I could at least watch people working so that I could learn something from this process?
Sick.
And he like, to his credit, shout out to Chuck Roven, he took me to set.
Like, yeah.
He goes, come with me. He goes, He's Wally, right? He goes, I like you. You're new. And he took me and he pointed out the AD. I didn't know what an AD was. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're just meeting everybody.
That's the assistant director.
Yeah.
I go, pay attention to everything he says. He's running the set. He's going to, in charge of all the scheduling. If you hear him call up on the radio for the Iraqi soldiers, that's you. You're going to work. He goes, don't cover any of the monitors. He goes, I know I don't have to worry about you.
Nice.
He goes, enjoy your learning.
Dude.
And then I go, I was really like, I was stoked because I was like, Mr. Roven, like, thank you so much. Like, it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, but there's no phones. There's no, this is all just you soaking it in, dude.
Yeah. It was first person experience.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know I don't have to worry about you.
I love that.
Enjoy your learning. I go, thank you so much,
And then
Mr. Roven.
you knock over all the fucking cameras and shit.
Check this out. He goes, Wally, call me Chuck. Oh. And I was just like, oh, dude, I'm in with the producer.
Cool,
so then I was
dude.
like, and then it was already implanted in my head that I was going to become a producer because I was like, I want to do what he does because he's kind of like doing, like, for me, like being on camera was cool.
Yeah, but that really,
I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Like, I do enjoy it. Like,
yeah.
it was something that was enabled to me out of sheer luck. Like, I first tried, like,
I don't know. I think it was, yeah, but also it's not luck. It has to, dude, it was your trajectory, dude. It was the way that you were, like, how can I explain it? You were going against everybody. You were doing exactly what you wanted. You could have been,
I think it was my confidence.
Salty, yeah. You could have been salty because of what your parents had been, like a trauma kid.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you're like,
I wasn't gonna stop.
No victim in you, bro.
No
victim mentality, dude.
Keep going.
Keep going.
That was the best thing I learned from skateboarding is to keep going. Well, not now. Now we have to stop when we get the,
Dude,
when we get the jelly legs.
Yeah, no.
I have my jelly leg limit.
Yeah, but it definitely starts without skating. I don't think you'd be here talking the way you're talking.
Yeah, and if I didn't after I got hurt skateboarding, let's fast forward a little bit to 2001 when I got hurt, I lost my nerve. Like it was gone. Like I remember the rehab was the most painful part. That really was the hardest part. The best part was that I could stay at home because I had residual checks coming in from jobs.
Jamming or what? You started,
and I was just playing guitar 24/7.
That's tight.
And so then I was like, that afforded me other opportunities in other bands in LA. And then at the same time, I would get other acting jobs, but like the skateboarding, I was like, all right, that was my career ender.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until we did the Paul Thomas Anderson movie Shout out to Paul Thomas Anderson.
Ow!
Thank you for hiring me. Where Gil and like they had skaters
Luis
in the movie,
and
I
you
was
were
like,
like,
yeah, I skate. Like,
wait, okay, so then perfect because we have. All right,
I hadn't skated in 20 years,
dude. That's what's nutty to me because I met you here at the '99 premiere. How did you hear about that?
From either Mark. I met Mark a while back at like a town hall.
Oh, okay.
And then I kind of started, when I started skating, I stared following all the local skaters.
Nice. Well,
like
yeah.
Gil and
Gotcha.
you know, and then I was like, oh, this is, at first I thought the 99 was just the name of the movie for Smells Like Fish.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
'cause
that
it's
there was
such-
other companies.
Exactly.
I didn't know anything. Again,
20
I didn't
years.
know anything. Yeah.
That's
I missed like 2 decades of skateboarding,
What
really.
the
Because I hated
heck,
skateboarding.
dude?
I hated skateboarding because of what it did to my body.
Yeah.
I got hurt, and I remember thinking like, because I mean, I would skate with these guys that were like doing like, I mean, they were like backside disaster down Hollywood High. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
and
saw
I could
the
barely. I kick flipped it. That's my claim to fame there. I kick flipped it. I board slid it. I ollied it as the warm up. But I remember pushing so hard just to make the 14, you know? And I was thinking, I'm going to fall. And I made it. And I was just like, how are these guys? And I remember I was skating with Chad Fernandez. Shout out to Chad Fernandez. One day. And he was like, if you board slide it, you don't have to go as fast.
He said that?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, you fucker. And then I did it because it wasn't a big rail.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like went up and I had my rail slide down and I got on it and I first tried it. I was like, holy shit. I first tried fucking Hollywood High. Dude. Before like cameras, we were still shooting on film.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This was 1998, 99. Because I was like back and forth from LA.
I think the storm. I think that's when the first time I saw Osiris dropped the video of the storm.
Yeah. He was backside disastering it, and like he was gnarly.
Fuck.
I knew the guys. I was really good friends with Jaya Bondarov. Rest in peace. He was a good friend, and he was the one who would bring me along. And so we were like, oh, we're gonna do Hollywood High. I'm gonna shoot Chad. And then I was like, okay. He goes, would you mind coming so at least you can skate so that we can have like a little.
So you could always get along. See, that's the thing. You could get along with everybody.
I mean, that's why I'm a producer.
Exactly.
Because I'm like I pull in the musicians, the actors, I can talk to talent. I could organize everything. That's kind of why I was like.
Were you like now in retrospect? Did you know you were going to do this?
No.
At all?
No.
Like never?
No. I thought I was gonna be a professional soccer player, and then when I went to study mechanical engineering, I thought I was gonna design cars.
Gnarly.
And then I thought I was gonna be a rock star, and then that didn't happen when the band broke up. And then I thought I'll just be in movies, and then I thought I'll just follow this because it's like I got thrown into it.
Yeah, but the doors keep opening. Like you see, and you're like, fuck it.
I'm like, I could figure this out.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was always like math.
Yeah,
figure
dude.
it out.
Yeah,
you know,
fuck, man.
It's like math.
I like that.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'll figure it out. And I was learning, like, my first movie was with David O. Russell. Newton Thomas Siegel was the cinematographer. Spike Jonze was there. I got to see him, and then I got to see George Clooney doing his lines. Shout out to George Clooney. He was really nice to me. I have a story that's going to be in my book.
We're going to do, yeah? Oh, wait, so time out.
I'm writing a book about all my Hollywood experience.
Dude. All right, tight.
I'm figuring out the name, so I can't say the name yet because I'm going to trademark it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've worked with Sam Mendes, Joe Wright, Jason Statham. I've had a career not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera.
Behind the scenes. I think that's the best perspective right now. People love that stuff. We want to know about that stuff. You know what I mean? I think the behind the scenes is where it's at, dude. And I was telling you beforehand, like, not a lot of people like to talk about this kind of stuff. It's like their little personal story that they don't want. It's like
could be because it's like scandal.
That's true, especially now, right, dude? You're right, dude. Yeah. No Diddy.
I didn't go to any Diddy parties.
Yeah, dude. You're telling me that you got invited to a couple.
I got invited, but I didn't go.
Dude,
I did. There was that the fact that I was.
You got a baby oil in the mail.
Something up there.
Wally.
Watching
to
my
Wally.
Back. Someone is watching my back up there.
Yeah, for sure,
the
dude.
Universe has conspired to give me the best path.
I guarantee
possible.
there will be. I don't know. I'm not. Never mind. I don't even want to
constantly.
Talk about it. Yeah. Anyways, okay, let's keep going with that. So then your second movie you were saying was your role was a skater?
First one.
The first one.
Yeah, that one was called it's a Japanese movie. I think it's out of print, but it was called Junk Food Generation.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was like I don't know if it was like 1 or 2 days in Tucson. I forget the name of the director, but it's called Junk Food Generation, and I'm like this skater who mugs the lead actress in the film.
It's pretty bad.
And I'm a skater.
Is it on YouTube? It has to be on YouTube. Somebody
I
has
looked for it, but I can't find
And then
it.
time out. Do you have all of this like physical copy? Like
No.
we don't none of it.
No. Back then,
We're gonna have to find it. I'm gonna find it.
This is during a time when you had to go, like, you had to track down the production company
And then get a copy from
and
them.
be like, hey, send me a copy. And then if they didn't
they
send
have
it,
it.
you had to follow up because the copy that I did finally get from people.
They had bought it.
It was easier for me to be in LA and go to their office and be like,
get
hey,
it.
I brought this tape. Can you just go,
give me a copy
please
of it?
get me a copy of it. And that was, once I was in the Screen Actors Guild, you can, like, they, under the Screen Actors Guild rules or whatever, they have to give you copy of your stuff.
Nice.
So, but there's stuff that, like, I had to, like my wife's dad VOD, recorded a bit that I did on Comedy Central.
That's sick.
That, I didn't
Did you
have
really?
it. Like, I tried to find it and I couldn't. The archive guy wouldn't get back to me.
Really?
Like it's for a lot of people that's been back in the day before everything was on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. It's so
it was
easy
hard
now.
to get your real. It's so easy now. It's so easy now.
Dude.
Back then it was hard. You had to, like, track people down and figure out, okay, who's working archive, where are they, or and where are the tapes? Because sometimes they would have to look for it, and, like, it was all like a mess of a library usually.
Dude, what do you think has happened to all that stuff? You think it's just it's probably gone? No, it's probably gone, dude.
Melted.
How sad.
I
I think that's why we need hoarders like Mark, collectors.
Here's another thing: like, the people in the '90s that did the ADATs for music,
Yeah.
those tapes are gone. Like, a lot, those don't hold up over time. I've heard that people going back to archives and they're, like, erased.
Dude.
So, yeah,
That's so sad.
pretty crazy.
Well, Wally, we hit an hour, so we're gonna have to do an episode 2, man, because you have endless amounts of stories. But it's
Volume
dope.
1.
Volume 1 of the Wally Chronicles, dude. Go ahead.
Barely got to the tip of the iceberg.
This is the tip of the iceberg, dude. The next episode is gonna be the entrance to Diddy House.
I mean, it's literally 2 decades.
It's pretty amazing.
Of my life.
And so what made you come back to El Paso?
The pandemic.
The
I
pandemic.
had zero interest in coming back to El Paso.
Really?
Zero. Like, growing up, we were not, what was happening was not happening in El Paso. It was either LA or New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And I was like, if I want to do that, whether it was skateboarding, whether it was music, whether it was movies, you had to be in LA.
Thank God the pandemic happened, bro, because you wouldn't be
if
here.
If it had not been for the pandemic, like, I shit you not.
I'm just joking. That's fucked up.
I cried
But
every day before we left because I thought my career's over. I'm gonna have to sell insurance. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
no, yeah,
that's
but
a good living.
it's like another hard reset.
But I was just like,
yeah, but you've gone through
my
so many of those
career is
hard
over.
resets.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought my career was over.
so like a math equation, you're like, I'll figure this shit out.
And then last summer I got to work with Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, dude, what a trip,
That was
dude.
like, my friend told me, he goes, you're the secret, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you brought Hollywood with you.
Yeah, it's
And I was
dude,
like,
that's
I don't know
what
how
we
you did
trip.
that.
We all, everything that we've been doing, like ourselves, and just the way that it's all combining is very strange, man. But yeah, no, I think it's that energy, man. Like, it's not a coincidence. It's not luck. It's those actions that you're talking about that
basically,
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm
Yeah.
going to keep going.
I've told myself, because this helps me a lot. I go, I'm always where I need to be. And if I look back and I
Take
look
out the
now,
joint, dog. No, I'm just joking.
Pásala, güey. Yeah, and that,
Say that one more time.
I'm always where I need to be.
I'm always where I need to be. Okay. Yes, dude. Damn, Wally. Well, I don't want to wrap this up, but we're about to hit the hour mark. And but see, it doesn't feel like an hour, right?
No, that's fast.
It was super fast, dude.
Like I'm a gabber, so.
No, but I love it, dude. So what we're gonna do is, where could people find you right now? Because you're on. I saw you have a song on your Instagram that shoots to your YouTube.
Yeah, Wally Lozano on YouTube, Wally Lozano and Insta.
I'll make sure to tag all that stuff on the bio. But we're gonna start the Wally Chronicles.
If you go to YouTube and pull up "Made in America" by Mexicans, you'll get my first record.
Oh, it's gonna be
My
on
solo record.
yeah. I actually listened to it last night, dude. There's a part where you go off on because it like you jam. And then what would you call that? Like you're I don't even know what to call it.
What song? What's the song called?
The one you have on YouTube.
I have a whole album.
The Mexican.
"Made in America" by Mexicans.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, that's a whole album.
So, but the link to YouTube only shoots you to one song.
Oh, from Insta?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's that song?
That one's called The Clowns.
Dude, that song is dope.
That's my I wrote it in a cubicle with a hangover song.
Yeah, dude. I think you had told me a little bit about that. We'll use that. If anything, is it cool if I use it for the intro?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Wally, we're gonna call it a day.
That was on the radio.
No, it wasn't.
That was on the radio in LA. Indie 103.1. Mark Sobel, who was the programmer at Indie 3.1, loved that record.
Well, why don't we should collab, dude, and make a song or something.
Sounds good to me.
Wally, give me some sugar, doggy. All right, guys, we're gonna close it out. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the Wally Chronicles. We gotta do it.
Part 2,
guys. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.